Hey, you guys, happy Friday. I hope that this week has treated you well. It's been a little busy around here, so you haven't seen me as much. I spent a majority of this week coaching, so this is very top of mind. I've already had two coaching sessions with amazing leaders this morning. I have three more before the day ends, last one being a full strategic planning session. So, yeah, I am super duper excited about what's happening in the lives of leaders and coaching. But earlier this week, one of my homegirls, Shun Strickland, shout out to Shun Strickland, who is just a phenomenal coach in her own right, posted a question that said, why do you want to be coached by someone you wouldn't want, whose results you don't want? Hey, Dr. Katina. And I was like, exactly, because you guys know one of my favorite quotes is too many people are being coached by failures. And so, especially in this social media driven world we live in, and with content being so easily produced in such a high quality fashion, people can present themselves in a very successful manner, having done very little or produced very little results. And this is no shade whatsoever. There was another question asked by Leah. Shout out to Leah, an up and coming entrepreneur and graphic designer who I've known since she was a kid. So I'm super proud of the work that she's doing. She asked, what qualifies you as an expert? And of course, Leah, my husband, and I were youth leaders for her in church. And so she has a lot of people that follow her connected to the church. And so they were like, I remember someone said, the minute you say it, and yes, the Bible tells us to speak those things that be not as though they were, and that we got to say it before, it actually happens. But like, that's one of the things that I was like, that's a little iffy. I mean, even Jesus took time to study before he got up out here, and he was God in the flesh. So, just to go out and say, today I'm an expert in whatever it is that you decide to be an expert in, when you don't have actual experience in that area, is a reach. And then to not only say you're an expert, but then to take that expertise, package it, and actually take it to market and expect people to pay for it is actually, in my opinion, a lack of integrity. So, my answer to that question, I went right to, Webster's, the dictionary still exists, y'all. All you gotta do is Google it. It's online. Now, don't pick the first definition that pop up. That's usually off Wikipedia or just the internet's culmination of all these different things. But Merriam-Webster's dictionary still exists on the internet for free. And so, it says that an expert is someone who has specialized knowledge and skill in a particular area. And so, that is, to me, a great starting point for the definition of expert. But also, when I am looking for expert advice, be it from a service professional, a medical professional, a plumber, a dentist, a stylist, anyone, I am graphic designer, any field. I am looking for a portfolio of work. I am looking for there to be an amount of knowledge and expertise in their given field. I'm also looking for results. And so, on so many occasions, we'll get drawn in. Some people are just phenomenal storytellers and have phenomenal sales skills. But if they don't have the work ethic, the proven results, the body of work to actually show you that they not only can just do the work, but teach you how to take your work to the next level, then I don't know if they're ready to coach. I mean, there's a lot of individuals that, start off doing something like they'll launch a successful business on their own. And, and then someone will say, man, you really did a good job with that. Do you mind, teaching me how to do the same? And so it's like, okay, cool. Receipts. Right, Dr. Jackie. And so like me doing something once and then teaching my homegirl how I did it and walking her through the steps does not necessarily make me an expert in said field and expert enough to coach. But however, it does make me have had an experience that I could share and walk someone through it. And then as I walk more people through it, because I may not have hit a pothole or a loophole or figure it out a roundabout way of doing something that only experience can teach, and so, also in the comments, I said, I know we deal with ageism a lot. Young people get really offended, because they don't want to be boxed in based on age. And it's not an ageism thing for me, because there are areas like my son is 22 years old. He is an expert at mixing and mastering music. He is an expert at digital art. But he has been doing, so he's 23 now. He started at 13. So he'll be 23 in July. So he is 10 years in the game. So yeah, he's an expert at this point. And he's an expert as it relates to certain software that I'm not an expert in. So his age has nothing to do with it. It is his commitment and his consistency to studying and perfecting his craft and his specialized knowledge and skill in that particular area that makes him an expert and makes him be gifted enough and agile enough and technically inclined enough that I pay him to work with me as it relates to client events where his skill set is needed. And so just know that you want to have interview your coach before you just hire them. Don't just hire them based on their graphic or what they said. Ask them about their results. Ask them about their story. Ask them about how they got to their journey. For so many individuals, they landed in this coaching market because they didn't make it in the real market. And so, and for so many, like, they haven't had a real job. They lack education in a given field. And so it was like, well, look, this coaching thing seemed to be taking off. I can talk my way into anything. I can read some books. I can go to a half-day class and get a certification. Boom, I'm a coach. And especially now, see, and I'm not a life coach, but especially all these life coach popping up when people need therapy, so that is just that's my soapbox for today. But you definitely want to look at receipts. The other topic that I put in here, what's the biggest receipts? Profits and client base. And so, when I look at my P&L sheet and when I sit with my accountant and we look at my earnings and we compare my year-over-year earnings and we look at the growth trajectory of my business, see, that's business talk. And, we look at how my invoices are going out and the amount of close rate and all of those things like that. And we see that, I started from nothing and have built a business that earns well into the six figures, not just has revenues, but earns for me personally. And so that's also a distinct difference because, you have to understand your time, your cost of goods sold, the subcontractors that are involved, all of the different pieces, your overhead, et cetera. And so a lot of people inflate their numbers because they don't really know their numbers, or they haven't hired an expert at numbers to help them really understand their numbers. And so they're undercutting their prices. So how can they coach you on how to set yours? They don't understand numbers. So how can they set you on how to create a budget? They don't communicate well. They're scared to get in front of the camera and speak live about the area in which they're supposed to be expert in. They hide behind the screen. So how can they help you with your confidence and how to sell your story? And so these are all things to think about. And what's their niche? Every coach, the people who are trying to be the coach of all things to everyone, it's like, no, like I know my niche. I know when someone calls me, whether I'm the coach for them or not. And I believe that there is enough for everyone. So if I am not your coach, then I have no problem recommending you to other coaches. Like there are, I'll take John Haynes if you would happen to hop in. John is an amazing executive leadership coach. He happens to be mine. He has a skill set just based on the fact that he's still in corporate and also running his business. And he's still in the trenches, where I'm not still in the trenches in the way he's in the trenches. He also is the trusted advisor of C-suite executives for one of the largest corporations in the world, not just in the country. And so when I think about and then also, like, he's a man of faith, and he has a spiritual inclination on the inside of him that walks with him. So why would I not, when I get a person to a point and I think that I've taken them as far as I can take them, why would I not then recommend them to the person who helps me even get to the next level? Because I'm not going to try to pretend to be John Haynes. I'm not going to try to pretend to be Shun Strickland. I'm not going to try to pretend to be Unica J. These are some of my favorite coaches. I'm not going to try to pretend to be Desiree Cockcroft, who is like, she life coach extraordinaire, Destination Life, Get Your Life. Like, I get your life with her, and then you come see me and we'll strategize on how to execute. So, you have to know you, and you have to know what it is that you were born to do. So let's talk about coaching. So coaching in 2019 was a $15 billion global entity. So I don't want you, this is not to say you can't become an amazing coach. I'm saying due diligence to gain the expertise and the experience that it takes to get there. Because it's up there, as the song say. And when it's up there, it's stuck there, and so that's another thing too, is like there's a growth that happens. And, we live in a world of reputation and referral. And so when I'm coaching from Fortune 100 companies down to startups and small businesses, I'm coaching in my areas of expertise, which is typically branding, marketing, organizational development, infrastructure, storytelling, etc. And so that is the piece. There's a lot of individuals that lead with aesthetics. I would say, more than coaches, a lot of them are graphic designers, because they are an integral part of your company, but they aren't the heart of your company. And so if all you have are pretty pictures and there's no substantive content to go behind it, because content is king and consistency is queen. And so if you don't have content and consistency, and, so there'll be clients that I'll get that initially will start off with me for the strategic planning and the coaching piece. But then, I would say a good run with the client is about 3 years. And then there's something that happens with a lot of clients, not all, that, after like rocking with me for 3 years, they'll decide like, I don't really need to pay this monthly retainer anymore, because I'm a teaching coach. It's not my intention that you're with me for the rest of your life. I'm not trying to lock you in forever. And so, they'll feel like, okay, I can go do this on my own. I feel like you've taught me enough for me to manage my social media page myself, or create my digital content myself, or come up. But then, there's a specialty that I have, and there's a gift of ideas that I have, that then when they want to try something new or do something new, then that phone rings again. It's like the whole target, like door swings are important. You want people to want to come back. And so you want to plant a seed that continues to grow. You want your stuff to be like that tree planted by the water, that you shall not be moved. And so you want to make yourself such an integral part of their business and such a trusted advisor, that when the time comes and there'll be seasons where they don't need that, but when the time comes that they need advice again, that they circle back around to you. And that doesn't mean that you need to be the cheapest person on the block. I learned this in my almost 17 years of working at AT&T. AT&T was never the cheapest person or vendor to add. And so, what we had to learn is how to sell value. And so in my coaching, I teach people how to sell value. I'm always teaching about the 80-20 rule as far as content creation, that 80% of what you post should be value added information, and 20% should be about, selling, creating community, advertising, etc. And so, that's so important, because if you create a space on the internet that people love and that they trust and that they like, and that they feel like they know, then people will come back for that over and over and over again. And so, when you don't do that, then what do you create? You create a monument. Or when you're only posting your accomplishments, but you're not posting things that are valuable to your audience and helping them become better, then all you're doing is bragging. Like you just created an online resume. That's what LinkedIn is for. And there's nothing wrong with that. But even on LinkedIn, you should be adding value, because through adding value and showing your knowledge base, it's how you grow your coaching and service oriented business. So of that $15 billion global industry that coaching was in 2019, $7.5 billion of that was made in the US alone. It is expected that the coaching industry will reach $20 billion by 2022. It's got a 6.7% average yearly growth. So it's doing nothing but growing. We have entered into a season, and we actually entered into it a few years ago, where people are looking for answers and they're willing to pay for them. And so what I want to encourage those out there who feel like, okay, I want to be a coach, is to prepare yourself to become an expert in your given field, and to also understand what it takes and what it means to actually be a coach, to actually be a consultant, to actually, I don't even call myself a coach, I call myself a strategist, because really, I come in as a thought partner, helping you strategize and create a plan, hopefully, on how to map things out in a way that you achieve the given goals that you set to me at the beginning of our engagement with one another. And so to me, that goes beyond just coaching. That is something more complex. And so, that is, I have so much education and so many things that I could, wheelhouses that I can play in. But, that's why, people wonder, it's not just about strategy sessions. And, you see me pop up with the $99 Power Hour, which is still available. You can cash out $99 to Power or paypal.me/Power Network. The reason that I keep that there is because I made a commitment to always make myself affordable to the community. But also, that's not my corporate rate. That's not my full-blown strategic planning rate. That's not my full-blown, we're going to create you a marketing plan and do all of these things rate. And so that it varies, by what happens. And, one of the things, you want to talk about results and receipts. I have multiple monthly retainer clients that pay me a set amount every single month because they want to have that access to me. And that was a goal that I set, to have monthly retainer clients, because as an entrepreneur, you don't want to be out here on a wing and a prayer at all times, waiting on your next opportunity. So I try to, and I was taught this in corporate, I try to get in deep and I try to get in wide, where people see enough value in me that they're willing to sign a 6-month, a 12-month contract so we can really work this thing out. Because that's the other thing too. People, will sign up for a Power Hour, which I appreciate, or they'll sign up for 3 sessions. And it's like, I can't change your life in an hour. And I really can't change your life in 3 hours. It's really a collaborative relationship that we need to enter into. Because other than that, then all I did was like get you started, and then you got to go execute all of these things that I'm an expert in. And so, it just really depends on, what you want to do and what the priority is. And so, let's talk about some good things for coaches to do. And for you to look for. Most coaches who have reached a certain level, a majority of their clients are other coaches. So I will say, or leaders, business owners, et cetera. That's definitely my niche and my wheelhouse. If someone is very early in the ideation stage and they haven't even launched their business yet, spending time with me is definitely helpful. I will engage in those type of things, but by the end, they have some very specific homework to get done. And I will say within a year, I haven't had one of those that comes in that hasn't launched, because I'm equipping them with the tools to be able to do that. So they've at least walked in. I always say, at the point that you pay me and you decided to book time with me, you've gotten serious about this idea or this business, or it's gotten stagnant and you're ready to take it to a next level. And so I take that very seriously. Also, as a coach, consultant, strategist, whatever you call it, transformation, blah, 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 blah. There's so many titles these days. Like, what's your niche? What specifically do you do, and who do you specifically do it for? What's your why? And when people think of a particular topic, do they think of you? So start thinking about, I get tagged all day when someone says, I'm looking for a brand strategist. I'm looking for a marketing guru. I'm looking for a business consultant. I'm looking for someone that writes business plans. I'm looking for someone to write marketing plans, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm thankful for every tag, because it means that when whoever tagged me saw someone looking for that particular skill set, I'm looking for an event architect, I'm looking for a facilitator for DEI. Like, these are all things that I do all over the country. And so I appreciate when I'm tagged, because it means that people are getting the message of what it is that I do, and that I'm doing a good job spreading, what I am capable of providing and the value that I can add to an individual and or an organization. I will also say that serving is absolutely the best selling strategy. So when I get on live to talk to you guys, this is me serving, me starting my new club on Clubhouse, the PowHER Network, where we'll have, conversations like this, and I'll have panelists, especially because that's the foundation of the PowHER Network. Is definitely, I always brought in amazing women and men to speak into the lives of leaders, entrepreneurs, and professionals. So, that's my years ago, this LEAP acronym dropped into my spirit. And, the P is kind of twofold. So it's leaders, entrepreneurs, and professionals, or it's leaders, entrepreneurs, and pastors. So, I have a huge faith-based customer base. And I'm thankful for that, because then it's like, not only am I helping them with their business, because so many pastors have aspirations outside of the church. That not only am I helping them that, but I'm impacting, in a positive way. So that's great. And then great content pre-sales your coaching service. And so you have to be consistent with your content. You have to be consistent with your message. And when I say consistent, I don't mean the same. You do need to diversify that content. Video is getting the highest push in the algorithm game. Reels in particular are pushed. Like, I can post a reel on Instagram and it'll have 3,000 views in less than 3 minutes, because Reels is Facebook/Instagram, owned by the same company, direct competition with TikTok. Similar to now how on Instagram you can have up to 4 people being interviewed at the same time, because Clubhouse was starting to eat into their market share, even though it's still only available for Apple users. The growth and the valuation that these venture capitalists that started it, shout out to Ben Horowitz, y'all know I was like, why am I moving my audience over here? But if I get pinged all day, every day, or if I just pop in to support someone on their conversation, I usually get brought up on stage. So I was like, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. Stop fighting this, Shun, and just go and just do it. And, I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know how long it's going to be hot. It depends on who buys them, because they gonna get bought. And then we'll see what happens from there, because they are already talking about the valuations on the market and in Silicon Valley. And so, and if you know the owners, Andreessen Horowitz, that corporation, that's what they do. And that's what they've been doing since the late 80s. So make sure you have great content, not just good content, great content. And if you can't afford to have a graphic designer with you at all times, become a Canva Pro expert, become a WordSwag expert. But what I can't stress enough that I see people cheap out on is like, what I don't want you to cheap out on. I just posted some pictures of Joanna Keys, the owner, founder, proprietor of Pop Therapy Candles. And I only posted 2. But when I tell y'all there's like 100 of them, and these pictures are, ooh. And shout out to Steve White, who just has been doing promo shoots for me for so long. But the right picture it can pre-sale, because it can exude trust. It can exude the heart of your brand. It can do so much. And then if you don't have the fancy graphics, if you could put the right picture on it with the right makeup and have somebody, like I show up, I'm at the photo shoots with my clients, because the photographer is there to take the pictures. And they do a great job. And some photographers are even great in creative direction, but that ain't really what they supposed to be doing. And so hopefully you have someone, and even if they are doing it, they're not a marketer. And so, it's really important to have someone on the other side of the camera with you. And if you can't afford to have a marketing professional with you, bring a girlfriend who is really creative and really good. I remember the first photo shoot that we ever did for the PowHER Network, Alta Smith, whose birthday it is today. Shout out to Alta. She knew the vision that I wanted for the photo shoot. And when you look at the laughs and the way that the women were touching and the way that the women were interacting and how organic the shoot turned out, it was really because she's a creator and she is just phenomenal at pulling things together in an aesthetically pleasing way. And so that being said, it makes it, her being there, made the shoot that much better. And so it really made me see the value in having someone do that. Now, 5 years later, hundreds of shoots later, that's a gift that I've acquired for individuals, knowing what resonates with the public. And so I do it myself for my clients. But I will say, and that's how like at the time, I didn't even think about that being a need when we did the initial PowHER Network shoot. I was thinking about it as a marketer, and I was thinking about the logo showing on the shirts, and I was thinking about the size and ages and things like that of the women and the message that I wanted to present. But she was thinking about it from a creativity perspective. And so that's why you need a team, and you need multiple mentors, and you may need multiple coaches. And and if you hire a coach who does not have a coach, like that's another red flag too, because that means that they think they know it all and they're not teachable. And I'm not just talking about just a mentor, I'm talking about a coach. I'm talking about somebody that is helping them grow as well. And not that mentors don't help you grow, but that they're also investing in themselves and their craft on a constant basis. So as Jackie said, you look for the receipts, ask for the portfolio of work, and just know that there is, I actually have friends who are coaches and consultants that make 7 figures per year. And look, I'm getting there. And, that's the other thing too. Look, there's another soapbox, y'all. There's so many people like, I'm the wealth coach. I'm the, are you wealthy? Let's just make sure that people can actually deliver on what it is that they are promising you. Like, Desiree, if you're still watching, she can help you get your life, because she get her life together. Like I can speak as a living witness. Like she got multiple master's degrees, great credit, keep herself in shape, a great experience, great job. She studied, like she can help you get your life together, because her life together. And so you want to have, Dr. Katina can help you be great. She is great, and Dr. Jackie can coach you and help you become a physician's assistant, because she has been one and went through the process of becoming one and taking the time to go through all the processes to get there. And so, you want to work with individuals that they have a in-depth background and knowledge base to share with you. And so that's what I wanted to say. Happy Friday. Excited about all of the power hours. I mean, we've got people booked from politicians to coaches all over the country, to nonprofit founders, to oh my gosh, there's just so many people on the roster that have booked them. And I appreciate all of you, and I enjoy spending time with you and helping you strategize on how to make your next move. And if you're watching and you want to make the investment, go for it. That's the other thing too. As a coach, you can't be scared to ask for the sale. You can't be scared to ask for the opportunity. You can't be scared to actually close on whatever it is that you're endeavoring to do. So go for it. Like, go for it full blown. There's a quote that says, entrepreneurs take the leap and they build the plane on the way down. And when you first build that plane, it might be I said this in Clubhouse yesterday, it might be a 2-seater puddle jumper, 1-engine situation. But then, as the years go by, I can say that's how I started. Now we pushing towards the 747 at this point. We moving into a jet. We gonna be a stealth jet I used to call it Power Network the little engine that could. And this year on our 5-year anniversary, I said we the train that did. And so we keep it moving and we continue to grow. That's another piece to watch. Are they growing? Are they growing? Or are they a one-trick pony? We all heard of the one-hit wonders, like that was your jam. Like, you think about the group that made Candy Rain and you like, what happened to them? Or you think about, and never mind, I won't start aging myself, but there's a lot of one-hit wonders out there. And it's like, you don't want to be coached by a one-hit wonder. You don't want to be coached by someone who did something once. So now they telling you like, hey, that I can help you do it once. No. When I'm talking to you, like I have coached everyone from, look, Oprah behind me somewhere and provided ideas to some of the largest corporations in the country and the world, to helping politicians get elected, to opening brick and mortar spaces all over. So funeral homes, radio stations, they're like the list, because someone said to me recently, like, what's your niche? Like, what specific area of business do you consider yourself the most well-versed in? And it's like, well, when you are an expert at marketing and storytelling and branding, then you don't niche that piece in because that skill set is transferable. Doctors, like there's so many people. And so when you're gifted in writing and you're gifted in storytelling, then you can transfer that gift and someone can give you their story very fragmented and raw, and you can give it back to them in a very succinct, articulate way that resonates with the public, if that's your skill set. That happens to be one of my skill sets. People often talk about my birthday shout outs, or, when I talk about my friends and they're like, oh my God, it's so like, it's so over the top. And it's so, one of my girlfriends said this morning, like, you're trying to make me emotional this morning. And it's not something that I do on purpose. That's how my words come out. I write all the time. I write all day, every day. I'm doing instructional design right now. I'm writing curriculum. I'm writing a diversity, equity, and inclusion handbook for one of, the largest real estate investors in the country. Like, they're traded on the NASDAQ. Like, I write all day, be it technical or creatively. And so when you do something for hours upon hours a day, you become an expert in it. And even if you're writing something as little as a caption on social media, because you're in the midst of writing, it comes out and it flows. I tease, my oldest son is a musician and a rapper. And I'm like, where do you think he got his bars from? Like, his mama's a writer. So anyway, you guys, have an amazing Friday, an amazing weekend. Enjoy this little bit of sunshine we have, because I was looking at my phone and it looked like the weather gonna make a turn on us in the near future, like Monday. It looked like Monday and Tuesday are not going to be our friends here in Milwaukee. But if you're watching from some other part of the country and it's warm, God bless you. And I'm praying every day that God releases me from the Midwest and gives me the guidance of where he wants me to go next. Don't worry, Milwaukee. I'll be here at least another year. But yeah, I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to go, and I'm done with winter, and so maybe I'll be a snowbird and I'll be here in the summer and gone in the winter. So yeah, that's what I got for you. Thank you, Jackie, for watching, and thank you for everybody that's watching, and for those that will watch later, that will watch the replay, because I know Friday mornings right before lunch are not, the most highly engaging time to go live on social media yet. I had to get it in where I could get it in. I appreciate you in advance. So talk to you later. See you guys. Bye. Peace, love, power. I'm out.